Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about eyebrows. Today I want to talk to you about all the things you need to know about filling in your eyebrows. So first I want to talk about the products that you can use. There's products that you can use that are a little bit more intermediate, and there's products that you can use that are a little bit more advanced. So if you're new to filling in your eyebrows and you're nervous about it and you've never done it before, a great place to start is an eyebrow gel. So you can use something like this to add a little bit of color to your eyebrows. This one in particular, this is the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Plumper. So this is a brow gel mascara. It does have some little fibers in it. It will make the brows look a little bit fuller while adding a little bit of color. So that's a great place to start, especially if you have a decent amount of brow hairs and you just want to darken them a little bit. From there, you could move into a powder. A powder is usually what I recommend for people to try when they want to really start filling them in, but they're nervous about the shape. So brow powders are very easy to use. They usually look something like this. So there's a wax on this side and a powder on that side. And you would just use an angled brush. You just use a small angled brush, something like this, to sort of fill in the area where you're missing some brow hairs, where there might be a few little gaps, and you just kind of follow your own natural brow shape. My personal preference is the micro pencils. So there's a lot of different types of pencils that you can get. Some people prefer the larger pencils that have a little bit more of a triangular shape to them. I prefer the micro pencils, and my favorite are the CoverGirl Ultra Fine Brow Pencils. I have Soft Blonde and Honey Brown. This is what I'll be using today to show you how I like to fill in my eyebrows. But I like these because they have such a fine point on them. Very easy to use, very easy to create sort of brow strokes with those. And then, in my opinion, the most advanced way to do your eyebrows is with like a pomade. So I have this Cello one. Comes like that. It's a little pomade, and you'd put your angled brush in there and sculpt the brows that way. So whatever your preference is in terms of product, there are some sort of generic rules that you can follow to make sure that your brows are starting and finishing at the right places, your arch is in the right spot, that sort of thing. So in general, you want your brow to start directly up from the outside of your nose. So for me, my brows do start there, and then they should finish diagonally out from the outer corner of your eye, from sort of your nose to the outer corner, out from there. So you can see that my brows are a little bit short. This is a very like old school way to measure. This is actually the way that I learned in school like 15 years ago, but it really does apply to most people. It really applies to everybody. It's just whether or not you choose that you like it that way or not. It's all personal preference with makeup. There are no rules, but these are just some guidelines that might help you. And then in terms of where your arch should be, the high point of your arch should land on the outer, this is hard to show you, on the outer part of your pupil. That's where your arch should be. So you can see that my arch is where it needs to be. The only place that I'm really missing is my tail. My tail's a little short. So those are the general guidelines on where they should start and finish, the products that you can use. In terms of filling them in, some people like them to be filled in very softly, very fluffy. Some people like to see brow strokes. Some people like them fully filled in. And then of course there's like the Instagram eyebrow, which is basically like completely blocked in, sculpted with a concealer, faded at the front, and the whole 9 yards. I think I land somewhere in between in regards to what I like. So I'm gonna zoom you guys in and show you how I fill my eyebrows in, and hopefully that will help you to figure out how you want to fill yours in. Okay, so I've started with brushing up all of my brow hairs, moving everything sort of out of the way. And then I like to start on the tail. So I have the darker of my two brow pencils. You can certainly use the same color for your entire brow. I just like to use a darker color on the outside and sort of underneath, and then fill in the rest with a lighter color. I find it looks a little bit more natural. I'm going to start with the tail, and I start underneath. So I like to bring it out a little bit so that I get that measurement that I was looking for. And then I'll kind of grab these hairs and bring them down. And then I kind of start up here. And sort of connect the two on that outer corner, and then I just kind of fill that in. And then I take my spoolie and I just kind of soften it with that. So I have little peaks up here, which I actually quite like. Some people like to sort of flatten that out. I don't. I like to sort of work with my natural shape. And then I like to sort of define this area. So I'm missing a lot of hairs right here. And also right in the middle here. So one thing that you want to remember that's really important if you want your brows to look natural and you want them to look very modern, it's important to make sure that you're not creating a hook right here. So you don't want the brow to sort of be flat here and then arch up in this area. You want the arch to be a soft, gradual peak where the high point is here, not over here. That's a mistake I see a lot of people make, and when I'm waxing eyebrows at the salon, that's something I quite often have to fix, where people have created sort of a hook shape right here. So what I do is sort of start in a bit of a straight line right where my brow starts, create that sort of angle, and that's the angle that I'm going to follow all the way across until I connect with the tail. Do you guys see what I meant by that now? So you can see it's a very uniform shape from where it starts here to where it like arches up there. So then I switch to my lighter pencil. So this is the Soft Blonde in the CoverGirl. And I start at the front and I just sort of do like flicking hair-like strokes up through. So I'm sort of dragging a bit of the darker product from underneath up through with the lighter color to sort of create a little bit of a gradation there. So you can see I've got the bulk of the eyebrow filled in. So now I'm going to work on the front bit and the shape up top. So I like to sort of create a little bit more of a I don't want to say a boxy shape, but my eyebrows kind of come to like a weird point right here. So I like to sort of add a little bit of volume here. So I just kind of very short and very light strokes with the pencil. I hope you guys can see. Oh my gosh, this is very difficult to film by yourself. So then I'm just following my natural brow line up top where I do have some hairs. And I do kind of work through with the spoolie as I go to sort of soften everything down. Please, God, tell me I'm in frame. And then sometimes I'll take my darker color where I'm missing so many hairs right here. Sometimes I'll go in and just kind of add a little bit of the dark. And then I'll go back in with my light color. So I kind of switch back and forth between the dark and light color to get the look that I want. Oh my gosh, I'm not in frame, fuck. Until I get the sort of shape that I want. So this is the shape that I like to wear them. I mean, this is the best that it was today. You know how that goes. Sometimes it's a good brow day, sometimes it's not. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish the other one off camera, and then I'm gonna come back and tell you how to fix mistakes. Keeping in mind, they're sisters, not twins. They're never gonna be exactly the same because your eyebrows don't grow exactly the same. However, as close as you can get, right? So it's not my best eyebrow day ever. It's not my worst eyebrow day ever. So let's say you've made a mistake, because we've all been there. It's a bit like winged liner. Sometimes things get weird and the brows get thicker and thicker, or they get higher and higher in an attempt to fix something that you've messed up. So what I like to do, and I mean, some people do use concealer to carve in the entire eyebrow. I personally don't love the look of that. I find it to be very harsh. I think this is harsh enough. Keeping in mind also I'm doing like a dark red lip today, so my eyebrows sometimes will reflect the type of makeup that I'm wearing. If I'm not working, I'm not doing all this. So I'll get into all that in a minute. So let's say you made a mistake, and you can either start like really blocking in your eyebrows, or you can fix it. I like to take a little concealer brush like this, just like a round, flat concealer brush. And I'll take a concealer that's close to my skin color. So this is just the what is this? This is just the CoverGirl True Blend Undercover Concealer. I'll take off the doe foot applicator, just the tiniest amount of concealer. Dab it off on my hand because I don't want it to be like a super intense amount. And so let's say like you put your arches a little bit too low. Do I have one that I could tidy this one up a little bit. So let's say you want to tidy up your arch a little bit. I just take that same brush and just graze along the edge, and then I just tap it with my finger to blend it in. So rather than carving out the whole eyebrow and having it look super crazy, I just like to do that. If I need to do any cleanup now, I have to do the other ones so that they match. So you can see I used almost no product. So I'm not gobbing on the concealer, carving it out on the top and the bottom, but that is something that you can do if you've messed up. Sometimes I just need to sharpen that point a little bit, and I'll do the same thing with the concealer brush. I find that to be very helpful. Now that I'm happy with the shape of my eyebrows, I'm gonna set them down. So I'm using the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Plumper that I talked about in the beginning. The color I have is light to medium, so this is their blonde shade, and this actually is not a great match for me. I prefer the Essence in Blondie Brow, but this is what I have, so we're making it work because I don't like to be wasteful. So I don't like to start here because I find you deposit too much product right at the start of the brows. So I like to go in sort of in this middle region where I'm missing a lot of brow hairs, and then out to the tail. And then I work my way towards the front. That just sets everything down to make sure that you don't end up having brow hairs poking down throughout the day, poking up throughout the day, just kind of almost hairsprays everything in. So these are my finished eyebrows. Before I leave you for today, I wanted to talk a little bit more about colors. So I have blonde hair, but I wear my hair really light on the ends, and I do have sort of a dark blonde to light brown on top, which is my natural color. So I personally like to match my brows to this color. So if you're somebody who colors their hair a really wild color, let's say, for example. So let's say you're a natural blonde, but you color your hair like a really vibrant, like auburn or something like that. I would recommend always filling your brows in with your natural color versus your hair color. And the reason for that is because your coloring is suited to your natural color. That's always what's going to look more natural on you. So it's going to look, unless that's the look you're going for. Now, if you're going for that look, no judgment on this end, but if you're wondering from a professional's perspective what I would do during a makeup application, I would always match your brow, like the color I'm filling your brows in, I would always match it to your natural brow color or your natural hair color coming in. It's just what's going to look more natural. It's just what's going to be more complementary to your overall features, coloring, etc. And all that to say, this is an eyebrow look that I do when I'm about to go full glam. So I'm filming another video after this. I'm going to do a little tutorial. So I am planning on doing like a fall makeup look. So I wanted to make sure that my brows were really visible. I wanted to make sure that they were really sculpted and defined. Now, if I was on my day off and I was doing my no makeup, all I would do is the brow gel, just to add a little bit of color so that my eyebrows are visible. You guys saw them at the beginning. My eyebrows are very sparse and very light. So I do like to kind of wear them in a more taupe kind of color when I'm obviously doing full glam, but when I'm on my day off, I usually just do a little bit of the brow definer. If I'm feeling really patchy, I'll go in with just the lightest color, and I'll generally just fill in sort of the tail area and then fill in the rest with the brow gel. So don't feel like you have to do a full sculpted brow every single day. Do your brows according to the makeup look that you're doing, your style, what you prefer on your face. Don't feel like you have to conform to a certain look, and don't feel like you have to do that look every single day. And the last thing that I want to talk about in terms of eyebrows is that brows are one of the most challenging steps of a makeup application for everybody. Even me, I've been doing makeup on myself and other people professionally for over 15 years. And obviously I've been doing my own for longer. It's very challenging. It's not an easy step in the process. It's something that everybody struggles with at the beginning. So don't get frustrated. Start at the bottom and work your way up. If you've never done it before and you're nervous about it, start with a powder or start with a brow gel. Don't feel like you have to jump right into like a deep pomade on your very first day of filling in your eyebrows. It's okay to work your way up to something, and it's okay to practice. The best time to practice your makeup is when you have nowhere to go. The worst time to like fill in your eyebrows for the first time with a super dark pomade or something is like right before work and you have like an important meeting that day. So give yourself a little bit of a break, give yourself a little bit of a practice, run with it, play around with the colors a little bit, what formula you like best. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to comment below. I'm happy to help. I'm here for you guys. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And I thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.